All right. What is up, everybody? Welcome to a new series here on Drums and Drams that I am calling Tuesday Tastealongs. As you can see, I've got a new addition to the setup here. Give me 1 second. This is playing through my headphones. That's not good. What a way to kick off, right? So we have a new series here called Tuesday Tastealongs, and this is going to be something where I'm able to, taste stuff in a little bit more of a focused way, and give you guys, tasting notes, make it a little more concise maybe than a Thursday night live stream. It's also to get live one more time per week for something meaningful. I feel like this is not just another live stream. It's like more of a focused review, for focused tasting, more of a community aspect. I'm going to be trying to focus on bottles that people in the community might have, all that kind of good stuff. Let me say hello to a couple people in the chat. We're going to get right into it here. I do have a little bit of leeway tonight. Scott from My Bourbon Journey is not going live at 8 p.m., which is what I was hoping to avoid. I didn't want to run into his live stream. I still want to keep this under 30 minutes. The goal for this moving forward is going to be 15 to 20 minutes, 1 to 2 bottles only. Typically, it might be like we taste Jack Bonded, Jack Triple Mash as a unit, or maybe one time is 1792 bottled and bond, stuff that people are going to have commonly, new releases, this kind of stuff. So that's what I'm thinking. Let me know if you guys are sipping on anything in the chat right now as I get started here. Let me know how the mic sounds. Does this sound okay? I don't have any monitors in, so I can't hear myself. I've been doing a lot of audio tests recently, though, and I hope this thing sounds okay. It looks like everything should be jiving on my end. So let me say hello to a few of you. I am warming my palate up for these Whiskey Weekend Batch 4 blends with a little Blue Note juke joint. It's a store pick, seal box pick. It's right around the same proof, right around the same age. I thought it would be a good way to warm my palate up. So if you guys have these Whiskey Weekend Batch 4 blends, if you're just now coming in, if you're watching the replay, if you have these blends, go grab it. If you haven't already popped it, I'm going to pop mine tonight. It just arrived today. Everybody's been getting these in the mail over the last 5 or so days, and I thought this would be a great way. Hopefully we can taste them together. I can give some tasting notes and see what you guys think in the chat, live chat, and in the comment section for those of you watching the replay. I'm glad it sounds good. I see Daniel P giving me a little feedback. I hate to ask how it sounds. I know that's annoying. How do I sound? Does it look okay? But this is a totally new setup. So, JG, you're Mr. Jive for sure. Sorry, man. I wanted to do something a little bit new. So cheers, guys. I'll try to keep this away from my mouth when I sip. I figure my mouth sounds will probably get to be a little much in this setup, right? All right. Sugar Kitty, good to see you. Toshi Bake, Top Dog. Trevor, I'm glad you made it, man. I thought I'd throw that little comment on the Facebook post. Dustin might be sipping along with his 3-chord blends. Bev Porter, what is up? Good to see you. Beautiful. All right, cheers to everybody. Oh, God, Hank Williams Jr. sipping on Bowman Cask Strength. Yeah, that's a hell of a bottle that I'll never get to taste, unfortunately. JG, why do you hate the banners, man? Andrew Doc coming in with a comment here. They have a single barrel store pick of 3-chord near me. Worth it? $65. I don't know. We're going to find out. These are going to be my first 3-chord experiences here. But these are obviously blends and not store picks, so I'm not exactly sure. All right. It's going to bother me if my brand color is blue and I'm doing a live stream with orange. So let me see if I can find an orange that's a little bit closer to what I'm using right now. I think that might look good. Let's pull a comment up and see. Oh, it's black now. All right, that's fine. Cool. Well, let's get to it, guys. Get a few glasses here. JG, I thought that's what you were saying, that you hated the banners. Or you're just rolling your eyes at the banners. All right, guys. So what else came in the mail today? Let me show you real quick before we get into today's tasting. If you're watching the replay, you can skip ahead, obviously, through all of the banter if you just want to get to the tasting. But a little old Charter 7-year from the 1980s, I believe, 86 proof, 200 milliliter bottle. I don't know when I'm going to pop that. I don't know. And then Lucky 7, the Frenchman. I did pop this earlier. Smells wonderful. Be very curious. Maybe I'll taste that on Thursday night's live stream if I'm able to do one. We got a bug in here. I'm just killing it today, guys. Got a little gnat flying around. If you see it, well, I'm sorry. Daniel P. says, where did everybody get these 3 chords? Good God. These were on Keg and Bottle. And so what all of this is, guys, for those of you who are not familiar, if you are familiar, I apologize for repeating this. These are from Whiskey Weekend Batch 4, held by the podcast, Will and Grease. There were these blends that were done. One is Team ADHD Whiskey, and one is Team Dixon Deadman. All right, and then they were judged by people at the event, other whiskey tubers, I think, or some panel, and I believe the ADHD Whiskey blend came out on top. And then they took the proportions of that blend, 3-chord did, and they actually remade this and produced it themselves, bottled it, and then Daniel, they sold it on Keg and Bottle. So it took 4 months almost to get here. I think I ordered this at the middle to end of April. So, kind of took a little while. Anyways, enough back and forth here. It's been 6 minutes. I want to get into these things. So let's go ahead and crack these things open and check it out. So I will go through the... Oh, wow, it's a tight cork. Damn. I'll go through the blend proportions here in just a second. I don't have a graphic of that I can throw up, but as you can see, I have plenty of graphics already, right? All right, let's get a little bit of this one poured out. I believe I just poured the ADHD Whiskey blend, if I'm not mistaken, because I think Dixon's blend had water in it, 4% water, which I can see on the front label here. Sugar Kitty's asking about the Lucky 7 Frenchman. These corks are tight. Damn. Yeah, I'm very curious to get into it because a lot of these French oak products that I've been tasting are too woody, too young. It's a little bit like that Discovery 8 flavor profile for me, all that dry, raw wood, which I'm just not so into. But this Frenchman from Lucky 7 smells really good, and it doesn't smell like all that other stuff that I'm complaining about. So I'm really curious about that. All right. Cool, guys. Let's get into this here. And if you are sipping along, let me know what you think of it, again, in the comments after the fact or in the live chat for those of you live with me right now. Here's what we have. This side is, I believe, again, Team ADHD, 116.4 proof over here. The other one is 118.3, so they're almost the same proof. This one is 116.4. There's some 4-year North Carolina wheated bourbon, 5-year Indiana high rye bourbon, 5-year Kentucky straight bourbon, and then 5-year Indiana bourbon finished in cherry bounce barrels. Okay, so mostly North Carolina wheated, 40%, 5-year Indiana high rye, 30%, 5-year Kentucky, 20%, and then 10% of that 5-year Indiana finished in these cherry bounce casks. All right. And then the other one, which is slightly higher proof, 118.3, I believe this is Dixon's blend. 60% of this is a 5-year Tennessee whiskey. I don't know where that's from. It could be Dickel, could be something else. 5-year Kentucky straight bourbon is 18%. 5-year Indiana finished in cherry bounce barrels is 18%. And then 4% water. So just a little bit of water in this one. Jay, I don't know how the teams were divided. I don't know how the teams were divided up. Maybe she was on Matt Porter's team. I think I saw somewhere it was called Team 88 or Team World's Top Whiskey Taster and Team Dixon Deadman. Is that right? Someone correct me in the comments. Should have done my research, right? But these bottles just got here today, so I thought, let's do the taste. Let's do it right now. Let's rush into this new series. I've had the graphic made for Tuesday Tastealong for a few weeks now, but I was like, I want to drop it at the right time. And I was like, if this comes in right now, this is going to be the right time to do it. So that's why we're doing this today. Let's start off with the lower proof one. Let's start off with the 116.4 with North Carolina, Indiana, Kentucky in here. All right, so let's check this out on the nose first. Right away, ethanol on the nose. Again, these are not old bourbons in the blend. Minimum age on all of this is 4 years. This one is a blend of 4 and 5 that I'm currently smelling. I'm getting a little bit of like a lemon cake note in here, some almost like cornmeal. This is ethanol forward, and I'm kind of going to start talking about a few young notes right off the bat. But this is not when I mention these notes, it's not like an off-putting profile yet on the nose. Something kind of tangy. There's a little bit of like a cocoa powder dusting in here. There's also like a tanginess, and I don't know if it's kind of coming along with that lemon cake note, like a sour citrus type thing. Bev Porter, thank you. She says, yes, the ADHD blend did win in the competition. So maybe that was, maybe Sarah was on that team. Guys, if my connection gets a little wonky here, please let me know. I just got some notification that it might have been a little sketchy there. Yeah, so powdered sugar on this one as well. So I've mentioned lemon cake, a little sour tang, some powdered sugar, kind of a light cocoa dusting. Everything here is a little bit light and ethanol forward. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Let's check out the other one now on the nose. I want to nose them both first before I go into taste them. So this one, again, about 2 proof points higher. And the other one, the first one I'm smelling here, does not have any Tennessee whiskey in it. This one has 60% of a 5-year Tennessee whiskey. All right, so there's a lot of Tennessee whiskey in here. We'll see what that does to the blend. Then there's the 5-year Kentucky bourbon, 5-year Indiana. So this is an all 5-year blend, basically. Let's check this one out. Again, same kind of ethanol notes, same kind of lightness to it. This has almost like a cookie profile, like a maltiness or almost like a cookie. There's a note that I got on something recently. The Bartown Bourbon Company for Cullen, that has a lot of 17-year Dickel in the blend, but also a 21-year Irish whiskey. And there's a note in there that reminds me of a fudge stripe cookie. I actually get a little fudge stripe cookie on Dixon's blend here. I should say Team Dixon. I think more people had a hand in it than just Dixon. Jay says, Sarah must have been on Matt's team and Chad on the other. I just remember their banter. Gotcha. No, that's good to know. How you guys feeling? How's everybody doing tonight, by the way? I know it's a Tuesday evening here, early in the week. I'm starting to feel the stress. I've got a rehearsal tomorrow and a concert Thursday night, which conflicts with the regular Thursday night live stream. So I'm going to probably go live at 10 p.m. on Thursday night, maybe. I've got to figure that out still. Yeah, so if this 5-year Tennessee whiskey in the second blend, if that is George Dickel, it's not coming off like George Dickel, and that's a nice thing in this case. Yeah, it's a little bit more, I'd say it's a little fuller in some ways on this second one. Yeah, whereas when I go back to blend number 1, the ADHD blend, it's having more light fruit now. I'm getting some green apple coming out of the glass, a little bit of strawberry candy. So those light notes are consistent, and now that I've gone to glass 2, when I come back to it, the fruitiness is kind of sticking out a little bit more, which is nice. So definitely 2 distinct profiles. Yeah, interesting. It's young whiskey, $65 a bottle. Is it a little overpriced based on what I'm smelling so far? Yeah, it is. But the cool part about this, obviously, is that other whiskey tubers and our friends blended these things in a time crunch in a really cool situation, you know? And so that's, to me, that's where the price comes in here. That's what makes these things worth it. But right now on the nose, they do just smell like young whiskey, you know? And I started off with a little Blue Note juke joint, and that might, even as a 4-year pick, might even be a little bit better than both of these. I don't know. We got to go to the palate and find out. But again, this is kind of just live, unadulterated, unedited thoughts here. All right, let's check out the first blend on the palate here. Cheers, guys. Oh, wow. It's a big, big whiskey. My God. Yeah, it's a little youthful, but this thing is going on for days. There is so much spice on this whiskey. It's interesting, too. I mean, yeah, we have high rye bourbon in here, but 40% of this blend is a North Carolina wheated bourbon, and it's spicier than hell. I mean, that is incredible. While there is so, and like I mentioned on the nose, sorry, I'm going to backtrack. There was that sourness, that tart thing that I was getting. Now on the palate into the finish, it's really getting tart for me. Tart fruits, sour green apple, sour strawberry. Absolutely. Tom Snyder says, are any of those bottles still available? You know, I actually tried to get on their website a little bit earlier, and I couldn't find them. Maybe somebody in the chat knows better than I do. But I don't know. It didn't seem like it. I also just realized, guys, I forgot to throw on some background music. So check this out. Again, first one of these Tuesday Tastealongs. I'm getting a little off track here, right? I want to keep these short and sweet. But I have some leeway tonight, like I said earlier. I have put together 4 different playlists so far of stock music, not the crap that StreamYard, which is the program that we all use or many of us use. They have some stock music that's terrible. I've put together some playlists from Epidemic Sound, which is where I subscribe to get my royalty-free music. So let's turn on a little jazz, guys, and let me know if the balance is okay, but I think this should be the right balance. To get the full effect of this microphone, we got to throw some smooth jazz in the background, right? So let me know how it sounds, everybody. I'm trying to level up the drums and drams thing, you know? I'm trying to level up the live stream experience. David, cheers to you, man, and cheers to you as well, Eric. All right. We're going to go on to glass number 2 now, Dixon's Blend. I'm going to check it out on the palate here. I saw a question up here I want to answer very quickly, which is, if you could have one, what would you choose? Fable and Folly or Barrel Seagrass? I know they're different. If you really want a whiskey, if you want a fruity whiskey and something with a bigger experience, Barrel Seagrass all the way. To me, it's a little overdone. The finishing, it's almost like a cocktail as opposed to a whiskey. Not in a sweet way, just in a massive, fruity, flavorful way. Fable and Folly is definitely a thin whiskey, but it's got those older notes to it. So there are trade-offs on both sides of it. For the price, Barrel Seagrass is going to be a better deal. Fable and Folly is $150 minimum. Really depends on what you value in your whiskey. Yeah, guys, let me know the balance. I've gone back and forth. I've done a lot of recordings. I've spent days trying to dial this mic in, and then I spent way too much money on this mic up here, the broadcast mic, or not broadcast, I should say, dialogue mic for videos, so I can get this thing out of my face for review videos. This is just going to be for live streams. And I've been spending a few days dialing these in, doing recordings with the background music and seeing how it all sounds. But if it needs to be a little louder, let me know. I did want it to be kind of in the background a little bit. If there's silence like that, you know, then it kind of pops out a little bit more. All right. Blend number 2. Definitely a more classic Kentucky profile here. Let's do it on the palate now. Cheers. Joe Dickinson says it was a pre-sale. He only thinks that they bottled what they pre-sold, and that makes sense. That makes sense. JG says could not find it on Keg and Bottle. All right. Wow. So blend number 2, Dixon Deadman, Team Dixon Deadman. That is, it's a much more classic profile. In some ways, it's like appealing to me more because there's more of like a salted caramel. Yeah, salted caramel, sweet corn, more of a profile like that, reminding me more of like a Kentucky bourbon, whereas the other one has so much of this light fruit going on. Both of these are super intense on the palate, and I could understand why Dixon might have thrown in some water to the blend to kind of tame that down. Maybe even just 4% water, which is what's in there. I could see that being necessary to kind of bring flavors out of this whiskey. What is up, Whiskey Nose? Good to see you. I don't know which one I like better at this point. And I mean, does it really matter? I guess that's what we're doing. I want to pick a winner. You know, I want to pick a winner. Man, that's close. It's really close. It's another one of those things like, what do you value in whiskey? Do you value light fruit or do you value like classic caramel? You know, those are the two things I'm getting here. And powdered sugar. That light fruit ADHD blend has a strong like powdered sugar note. I like it. It's just really, really alcoholic. Whereas the other blend, I think it is a little more cohesive. There's a little bit of like a burnt orange in Dixon's blend. The light side, the dark side. What are you going to choose? I don't know. What's up? The average drinkers in the house. You're not late to the party. It's always party time. You can't be late. Paul P says, my bottle says 323 out of 1200. Oh, so I suspect they sold out on pre-order. Yeah, okay. So 798 of one bottle and 1200 of the other. Interesting. I didn't know you could buy them individually. I thought you had to buy them as a pair. I guess that's wrong. JG says I should blend both at the end. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah, so that ADHD blend, the thing that's on the low side of it or the darker side of it is that kind of dusting of cocoa powder. That's what I called out earlier. But I think it's mostly these lighter fruit, tart, sour fruit notes for me. It does show age a little bit better in that blend. Whereas Dixon's blend is a drier wood, like that drier wood quality, that youthfulness. That's what's going on there. And actually, the ADHD blend has managed to get a little bit of an oak funk to it. Like, leathery oak funk, like just 10% of that going on in there. Yeah. And of course, these things are fresh out of the bottle, and so getting some air into them, letting them sit, I think is going to do them wonders. Let's go back to Dixon's blend on the palate here. And thank you guys for hanging out, by the way. There's like 45 people in here, which is not what I expected for 7:30 p.m. on a Tuesday on a random thing I threw up 45 minutes beforehand. So thank you so much. Hit that like button if you are hanging out. And if you're watching the replay, I appreciate it. Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun series to do here. And the next one I do is going to be something accessible. Something like a 1792 or like a Jack Bonded and Triple Mash. Like that's where I want this series of Tuesday Tastealong to live. In that kind of communal thing. We can all pour it together. At least that's the idea. And kind of discuss it in the chat and make it short and sweet. So. I got to remember to put the mic away from my face when I'm rinsing around my palate. Sugar Kitty loves the concept. Yeah. Excuse me. The time slot sucks, but like for me, I might move it to 8:30. If I do it, I might move it to like an 8:30 slot. That overlaps Scott for my bourbon journey, but you know, sometimes there's just nothing you can do. Like oftentimes Scott and Jason will go live on like a Thursday and do a barrel pick, and I don't plan to do this every week anyways. So maybe it's okay. You know, maybe it's okay that I jump in to like an 8:30 slot to kind of pregame for the junkies to go on or something like that. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments or in the live chat right now. I'm curious. 7:30 was me trying to avoid things, but I know it's a little bit early, especially for West Coasters and people in other time zones. Mike James, my Russell's 13 review is on the way. So I will do a blind of it. And I was going to make a video for that. I really was. But I think at this point it would be kind of... Maybe it will be worthwhile. But I want to just review them first. And I might do a blind like 2 weeks later in a video or maybe on a live stream. I got to figure that out. But I have tasted through them all now. I know their profiles. So I think if I did a blind of the 3 batches, I think I would be able to know which one's which at this point. And because of that, like... I hate when people do blind tastings. Sorry, quick rant. I hate when people do blind tastings and it's like 2 very distinct bottles and they act like they don't know which is which. That kills me. So I never want to be that person. And I think I could do that now with the Russell's 13s. So I'm just going to do the review video first. And maybe if I do a blind, it's like a little while afterwards when I don't quite know the profiles as well. Roy says Sunday evenings. I know Sunday evenings are good. For me, that might be tough. And it's Bourbon Night does stuff Sunday evenings. So I don't know. We'll see. We will see. Sugar Kitty, overlapping 1 is better than overlapping 3 others. Does that mean 8:30 is better on Tuesday nights? Who would be 3 others? Like Bourbon Junkies when they're live? Is that what you mean? Yeah, Top Dog. I know. I just dropped this earlier. Sorry. I just wanted to get it out there, you know. All right, guys. Let's keep going here. This is going to be a tough one. You know what's interesting is that there is a bourbon in both of these blends. It's minimal in both of them. 18% in Dixon's blend and 10% in Matt's. That cherry finished Indiana. And I'm not getting enough cherry to like really like even be able to recognize that would be in the blend. Oh, yeah, right. 21090 is 9 p.m. as well. That's right. Yeah, we'll see what happens, guys. See, I want to call it Tuesday Tastealong, so it's got to be on Tuesdays, right? Sunday Sip-Along, we could do that. But I like Tuesday Tastealong. I think it's a good thing for me because typically on Tuesdays, my idea is to drop a video either right before or right after this. I don't know. I've got a bunch of ideas. I need to just calm down. Anyways, I'm going to get back to smelling and tasting this. All right, so is anybody in the chat right now sipping these along with me? Dixon's blend kind of arrives on the palate a little sooner. Like it hits the front of the palate and you immediately get into the body of the whiskey. And it is a long finish, but it seems like it didn't ramp up on the palate. It just hits you like a brick wall. Whereas Matt's blend ramps up on the palate. There's more of like a development aspect to Matt's blend. Dixon's is a little more straightforward to me. And I think that Tennessee whiskey might be the reason it feels a little more straightforward. Paul P. says, what is the North Carolina distillate in the winning blend? I think, is it Southern Spirits? What is the company, guys, that... Or is that in South Carolina? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. Let me see if it says on the back of the bottle. No, I don't believe so. I'm sure somebody in the chat knows where that's from. Back to Matt's blend. I think it's starting to come into focus for me a little bit more here. Maybe it's the air getting to it, my palate getting used to both of these. Matt's blend seems to be the one. And I know, like, maybe I'm influenced by knowing whose is whose. It's a little bit... It's a little more alcoholic, which I would ding it on. But the flavor profile is working better for me, and the palate experience is working better for me. And the finish goes on for freaking days. That's what's so crazy about this one. More vanilla as it opens up, which is nice. I was talking about powdered sugar earlier on this. It's kind of coming into a full-fledged vanilla note. But I could see a lot of, like, diehard Kentucky bourbon fans that would appreciate Dixon's blend a little bit more. So again, I think this is going to be a preferential thing. Daniel P. Just received his ADHD blend, but I haven't opened it yet. Let me know when you do. You know, check this out again. See what you think. And drop a comment on here. Let me know what you think. I'm very curious. Bubble Bass says, drop them or premiere them. I don't know. Are we talking about this or other videos? What did I say earlier? I can't even remember. Paul P says, I only have the winning one. I try not to judge much on the first pour of any new bottle, but for now it's got a nice finish with an oak char and cocoa. Yeah, okay. So the cocoa thing I was talking about, there was a little bit of an oak funk to it, but getting too much ethanol. That's the same for me. Whereas the other one gets rid of a little of that ethanol. It's a little flatter, a little more straightforward, less age showing, but maybe the body of the whiskey is a little bit like more flavorful. Is that the right way to put it? I don't know. I might be changing my mind here, though. I know we're on 32 minutes already. I do apologize. First one of these. I promise after this, the goal is to only ever do one bottle unless it comes as a pair, like the Jack Bonded and Triple Mash, stuff like that. So hopefully one bottle I can be done in, 15 to 20. But thank you guys for hanging out at any rate. Hit that like button if you have not already. Thank you so much. Yeah, DC, I was wondering about this. I'd dug through that box 2 or 3 times because I was like, wait a second, I feel like I'm missing the stickers. I remember seeing them. Yeah. All right, I'm going to reset my palate very quickly with a little water, a sip of the Blue Note, come back one last time, and then I'm going to make a final call and get out of here so you guys can get on with your evenings. Hang out. Wait on the Bourbon Junkies at 9 p.m. because Scott's not going live at 8. Or maybe I could just hang out. I don't want to make this like an hour long, though. I really don't. Especially for the people watching after the fact. Wow, and this Blue Note, I don't know if you guys have had any of these Blue Note juke joint picks. It smells like buttered lobster. It's so buttery. That is wild. So hopefully that'll reset my palate. Oh my god, it literally tastes like seafood. That's freaking weird. Have you guys seen something about like them making whiskey out of crabs? I think that's a new... Somebody was doing that. Was it whiskey or was it beer? I can't remember. I cannot remember. Yeah, Paul, the packaging is a little nondescript in that way. All right, let's get back to it. Mitch says the finish on Matt's blend is super long. It really freaking is. Dustin says the junkies are off tonight. Really? Guys, should I jump back on at 9 and do a live stream? Like a real live stream? I could do it. Not in this video, obviously. Leave this, go have some dinner, come back and do a live stream. What time is it? 8:06? That's enough time. Because I don't know that I'm going to be able to do a live stream on Thursday night because of this concert I've got. Oh, Whiskey Encore's doing it. Okay, Cheech, I got you. Cool. Yeah, I gotta figure that out. If I'm gonna go on at 10 Thursday. I don't even know if the concert will be done by then. All right. So I'm going to be as objective as possible. Yeah, guys, check out 21090 and Whiskey Encore tonight. I'm going to be as objective as possible. I'm going to give the nose to Dixon's blend. I think the massive ethanol punch on Matt's blend is what's turning me off just a little bit. And I think Dixon, by adding that 4% of water, I don't know how much of an effect that had, but it's clear he wanted that in there for some reason. It could have been to limit the ethanol, to bring out some certain flavors, whatever the case may be. That seems like a smart move. Maybe I'll add a little bit of water to Matt's blend at the end of this and see if it opens it up in a certain way. Got to give the edge to Dixon on the nose because of the lack of ethanol. It's a more full-bodied flavor profile on the nose. So let's go to the palate now. I'm going to start with Dixon's on the palate. Really nice. So much cinnamon on that. Like I said earlier, burnt orange, straightforward bourbon profile, kind of that cornmeal. Yeah, salted caramel, and so much cinnamon. Good God. So I'm going to give myself like 15 seconds for my palate to relax a bit and go in for one final sip of Matt's blend. Daniel P says whiskey tasting notes. I think, Daniel, like the blue note when I mentioned the seafood. Oh, I spilled. That was just, I don't even know how I did that. That was so terrible. I spilled right on my touchpad here. One sec. I promise, guys, I have not been drinking all day. I just started. Yeah, I think it's really just the butteriness. It's reminding me of buttered lobster. It's not necessarily like fishy and seafoody, but it's like just really that melted butter kind of note. All right, let's get into Matt's blend now on the palate. Before I do, the very tail end right now of the finish on Dixon's blend. It's a really long finish, just like Matt's. Yeah. There's no oak funk. It's a very clean finish. Flavorful, clean cinnamon spice. Let's go into Matt's now. God. This is a tough one. Okay. And Blind Squirrel says you need to catch up with us day drinkers. That's hilarious. Yeah, the palate on Matt's blend, I've got to give the edge to that. Like I said earlier, the development is better. It takes longer to ramp up. The body of the whiskey, like the actual palate experience, is longer. The finish is insanely long right now. The finish is more peppery on this one, like just a white pepper, almost like a numbing, tingling spice, whereas Dixon's was a more flavorful cinnamon spice. I will give the palate to Matt's blend, but it's 5% of a lead on that, whereas I think Dixon's blend on the nose was a little heftier of a lead for me. So, I mean, I'm not giving these things like ratings or whatever, but if it's out of 5, you know, if Dixon's on the nose, let's say, is a 4.5, Matt's, it might be a 4. Whereas on the palate, Matt's might be a 4.5 and Dixon's might be a 4.3. Like, it's close is what I'm saying. On the finish, length of finish goes to Matt's blend. I like the finish on Dixon's blend a little bit better because it's more flavorful, more cinnamon, not as much of a numbing ethanol, alcohol, pepper spice thing. What is up, Darrell? Thanks for jumping in here, man. Cheers. Good to see you. So this is tough. I think my winner tonight is Dixon's Blend. I think it's by a very small margin. It's a little less in my face. It feels like it was put together not better, but in a more drinkable, approachable way. Whereas Matt's blend it's a challenge. I really think it's a challenge on your palate. I'm going to throw a little water in Matt's blend. I'm going to try to be super careful. Let's see if I can do it. That was maybe a little much. I'll throw a little more whiskey in there. Let's see if I can even it out. All right. Again, thank you all for being here. Thank you for hanging out. Hit that like button. We're going to be out of here in just a few minutes. There's a little too much water, but I'm going to try to balance it out with a little more whiskey here. The water is helping Matt's blend immensely. It really, really is. There's a note I want to talk about very quickly, since I'm already 41 minutes in. Old Elijah Craig barrel-proof pirate bottles have this. Frey Ranch single barrels at barrel strength have this note. Some Driftless Glen single barrel picks have this note. It's a kind of an ethanol note in the whiskey, but it's a little bit dusty. It's like a dusty ethanol note. I don't know how to describe it other than that. Where I first picked up this note was in the Elijah Craig pirate bottles. It's the way the dusty old bottle effect, those kinds of things mingle with the immense ethanol. It's 139.4 proof, the one that I have. I then noticed it on Driftless Glen at a 125 proof bottling, 4.5 years old. Then I noticed it on the Frey Ranch single barrel pick that Paul Graham sent me. And now I'm noticing it on this Matt's blend of the 3-chord. It's this interesting ethanol note, but it's not just alcohol. There's a funkiness in it, and I don't know how to describe it. So take that for what you will. If you're familiar with dusty bourbons, you might know what I'm talking about, but otherwise, I might just be talking to myself at this point. All right, one last sip. For those of you who picked up the winning blend, I'm going to suggest that you throw some water in this thing. I think that is going to do it a really big favor. It takes away a lot of the ethanol. It makes it more palatable. Yeah, it shortens the finish. Whatever. I think it brings the flavors of the whiskey out a little bit more. Paul Graham says, "Hey, buddy, what is up, man? Dude, good to see you. Thanks for jumping in here." All right, guys, so my winner tonight by a super, super small margin is going to be Dixon's Blend. But my God, this really comes down to what you value in whiskey. Long finish, more cohesive, bright fruits, classic Kentucky bourbon. You could go either way on this. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. At 9 p.m. tonight, go check out 21090. Sounds like Whiskey Encore is going to be on at that time as well. Let me know either right now in the comments, if you're catching the replay, whatever. Let me know what you think of this new microphone, the new setup here. How does it sound? How is the background music? I've got the jazz mix on right now. I've got a couple other mixes I'm going to play on my live streams, as long as I remember to cycle through them. Let me know what you think of everything. Tuesday Tastealong idea. Normally these are going to be a little bit shorter, but tonight, what the hell? We're going to kick this off with a little longer stream. And it's been fun. Paul Graham with $50 super chat. Dude, I'm not even giving anything away, Paul. Thank you so much. Holy crap. Cheers to you. And you know what? I'm going to blend these things to wrap this up. Paul, you're amazing. Paul P says, dang, you're right about add water to the winner. Paul P, I would try the ADHD winning blend. Winning whiskey weekend, not winning tonight, unfortunately. I would try that over ice. I would be very curious to see how that does over ice, because the light fruit notes, powdered sugar, vanilla, the tart qualities, it's hot as balls outside right now. Like, that might be a great summer whiskey over ice with a little dilution in there. So try that, and I'm going to try it too and see what that does. Thank you guys for the feedback on the music and everything. I appreciate it. All right, so I blended these two. Let's give it a taste. If you have both, my version of Matt's blend had a little water in it when I did blend it just now. Blend these things. Throw a couple drops of water in. That's the answer. Holy crap. All right, y'all. I will be back hopefully Thursday night. I'm going to try to get a review out ASAP. I know it's been 2 weeks since I've put out a full review on anything. I do apologize. I've been a little busy. Things have calmed down for the next 3 weeks or so, which is awesome. And I'll get one out for you soon, and I'll let you all know, especially patrons, about what's going to happen with the Thursday live stream, what time it's going to be. So Paul P says, yeah, I'll do it over ice. Just the water ad brought out some fruit. Yes, it did. It's awesome, man. All right, cheers, guys. I will catch you later. I got to go eat some dinner and keep working. So cheers. I'll see you hopefully in 2 days. Have a good rest of your night.